Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now at PhilMTV Studios is Hunter Cain. He is running for a seat in the Clark County Commission. Hunter Cain, thank you for joining us here at The Pulse.
Thank you very much for having me.
Why don't we start by telling our viewers about yourself?
So absolutely, my name is Hunter Alexander Cain. I'm running for the Clark County Commission here in District C. When you think of District C, think of the northwest part of the valley. So that is Summerlin North, that's Centennial Hills, Lone Mountain. It goes all the way up to Indian Springs and Mount Charleston too, all the way to kind of the Pahrump border right over there.
Oh, okay.
What I love to tell people is, I'm first and foremost a proud foster parent. So I've brought in 36 young men into my home over the past 8 years. In 2018, I've adopted my first son, James, and then ever since that time, I've now had 11 other kids that are now permanently mine. And it's about to be the 12th kid, actually,
Really?
on June 10th. We're going to go to court for him to be permanently mine also.
That's a huge family.
Huge family. So our
Yes.
Christmases are a little crazy. So the holidays bring everyone together. But I can tell you our house is full of love, which is really, the point that anybody does any of
It's
this.
wonderful to hear. Russ Miller is not running for re-election for the County Commission District C. That means that this is an open seat
Yes.
for the November general election. How many are competing for that seat in the Democratic Party primary?
Yes, so I'll actually be running against Shannon Bilber Axelrod, so it's just going to be the two of us in the primary. My focus is 100% on community service.
Yes.
So I'm not 100% sure what she's doing in the community, but I can tell you I've started the Foster Care Chamber of Commerce to help those. We actually have a lot of different veterans organizations that are very supportive of me, mainly because we also started the Southern Nevada Veterans Providers. And I even actually have a Star Trek fan club, and we do a lot of charity work around the city. So if you see us in our Star Trek uniforms, we're always out there, always trying to do good. We sincerely believe that community first is the biggest goal.
Star Trek, like the Trekkers?
It is the
Okay.
live long and prosper.
Yes.
I'm a captain in my ship, and we have a lot of great fun. We dress up in uniforms. We're at the conventions. It's a heck of a whole lot of fun.
Fantastic. You might have touched up on this already, but what programs or issues are you interested in working on if you become a county commissioner?
Yeah, so the county commissioner, they have a broad range. I always say that everything goes through the county. So there is a broad range of things from the RTC and transportation to the waterways to your utilities and all that. However, there are some overlooked issues also. So nobody can say here in Clark County that the Primary Family Services is doing a good job. There's a few different things I would like to go in there to not only help get more foster homes, but also help those youth that are aging out of foster care system. And at the same time, I'm a military veteran. I've served in the Army for 10 years.
Wow.
And Clark County is the only level of government that has no veteran services.
Oh,
So I would love to create, I would love to create the inaugural Veterans Service Department where we can do a few different things where we fill in those gaps for those some of those homeless veterans, those that need housing, employment, all those different type of things. So that's another big passion of mine. And then education.
Yes.
CCSD is not directly controlled by the county. That's actually controlled by both the school board and by our state legislatures. However, if the saying is true that it takes a village to raise a child,
Yes.
then I think the county needs to do its part too. And where I would love to see what kind of supportive services we can do for early childhood education, so those going into high school, and then what I also love to call early adulthood education. So
I
those that are
see.
going into the workforce, let's see if we can't help that 16, 17-year-old get an apprenticeship, maybe start a part-time job a little bit earlier, get into a trade that can help him.
Yes, yes.
Of the 36 youth that came through my home, I think maybe 2 of them ended up in college and are doing well. The rest of them, college was just not for them. And once I learned that there are other options, I didn't learn it from the school district, I didn't learn it from my county, I just kind of learned it by accident. But it's great now, I have sons that are in the military, I have sons that are becoming EMTs, some that want to become firefighters, some that are laborers, and I think we need to start focusing that a little bit more in our
Well,
school
you
system.
certainly have the heart for community and public service.
Absolutely.
Joe?
So how's it going for you in the campaign, and are you getting a lot of endorsement?
Yes, it is going very, very well. Very, very tiring. Right now, we are about 18 days out from the primary. We are out fundraising our competitors. We are out endorsing
wonderful, yeah.
our competitors. We are, of course, doing more in the community. Just recently, we had an AAPI Youth Voice Matters
Yes.
event that went very, very well out there. When it comes specifically to endorsements, we do have quite a few national ones from Democrats Serve and Common Good and stuff like that. We have state ones from great organizations like Silver State Equality and others. And then the amount of local endorsements is, I think, what's very, very impressive to me, is that there's a lot of key leaders of different organizations all around the Valley who are coming out and supporting one person, and that's Hunter Cain.
That's fantastic. Good for you. We're nearing the end of our show. What would you like to say to our voters? This is your pitch.
This is my pitch. Okay. Well, what I would tell you is, my entire life has been a life of service. So rather it's, when 9/11 happened in 2001, I was one of those people a month later that joined the U.S. Army and was shipping off to basic training the next month. When the governor said, hey, we needed to have more people help out, here in the stateside, I became a National Guardsman. I turned around and helped out in any way I could. I worked for Congresswoman Dina Titus for the better part of half a decade. From her office, I was able to do more outreach and more provide more resources and services to our community. And then when they said, hey, we're short teachers, I said, cool, I'm going to become a teacher. And they said, hey, we need more foster parents. Cool, I'll become a foster parent. So, I'm one of those people that have consistently been engaged one way or the other in our community. And this is what I want to bring to the Clark County Commission. I want to kind of knock it off its pedestal to show, hey, it's not our job to stand in our ivory towers to say that we're better than you. It's our job to bring our resources directly to you where it can do the best good. So voting for me, June 11th. You can do it a few different ways, of course, online, but you can always follow me on Elect Hunter Cain on all social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you can find me on there, and we're going to be making history together. I will be the first veteran in more than 30 years on the Clark County Commission. I would be the very first openly LGBTQ person on the commission in history. I will be the first Black commissioner for District C for our commission, and then I'll be the only licensed foster parents on there. So if we're talking about diversity, it starts with who we elect there. So I hope you vote for me on June 11th.
Well said, Hunter Cain, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today at the Pulse.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me here today.